Everybody, thanks for joining us live. I really appreciate you being here with us this morning because today we have Zakia Ringgole, great at everything, but we're going to talk to her about the metaverse. Zakia, tell everyone how you're doing.
Hi, everybody. My name is Zakia. Erica, thank you for having me on the Virtual Summiteers Masterclass. I'm looking forward to this. And Eric says
Hooray.
3 times latte.
Thanks for being here, Eric. I am going to hand the stage over to Zakia. Zakia, you have the floor.
All right. So I am going to get started by sharing my screen. I have a small presentation I put together, but if you know anything about me or you have been on any presentations with me, you know that I hate a monologue. I like them to be dialogue. So if you have questions at any point, please feel free to stop me and ask those questions. The virtual cemeteers asked me to do this talk because I am somebody who I consider to be a tech enthusiast. And if there's something that piques my interest, and the metaverse is one of those things. And so I put a subtitle on here, and that is when you think of the metaverse, it first thing that we need to debunk is Facebook is not the metaverse. Just because they have renamed to Meta does not make them the metaverse. It is a much larger conversation that needs to be had. It's been around prior to them changing their name. And really, when we're talking about the metaverse, it is really about transforming how we see, engage, as well as participate on the web, in the internet, or however you want to describe that. Okay, so for some of you who do not know me, my name is Zakia Ringgole. I am an emerging tech enthusiast. I'm also an instructional designer by trade. I've been in that industry for over 20 years, which means I started when I was 5. I call myself a virtual event architect, and that has shifted to just an event architect. Doesn't matter if you're doing virtual, hybrid, or in person only. I am probably your person if you want to talk about how to make that engaging for all of your stakeholders. I am also a soap maker, an author, and an instructor. So I believe that we are so much more than soap. However, it is very important that we all do something with that soap. So I love making soap. I'm a certified soap maker. I've published 4 books on soap making. And then I also teach people in live soap school how to make their own natural skincare and to start their businesses online. And then the most important title that I hold is I am the mama of decade twins, Nyla and Paige. They were born 10 years apart on the exact same day. So when I get really up there in age, I only have to remember one birthday because they have the same birthday. So, a question that was brought to me was, how did you even find out or stumble on the metaverse? And I watched my kids, my nephews, my friends' children, and they were all on these devices, whether it be an iPad or on their games. My daughter, Paige, she constantly plays Roblox, Minecraft, and a game called Toka Boca. And she would constantly say, Mom, can I have some Robux? Can I have some Robux? I'm like, what are you doing, Robux? No way. You can't. It's just digital. And then it really spawned on me when one Christmas, she didn't want anything out of the toy store. She wanted her Roblox to be fulfilled. Digital currency is what it was. My nephews with Fortnite, they would play these games and they would have avatars and skins that went along with them that they would pay real currency to be in this world with other people they had never met, but it was building their online avatar, their online persona, if you will. Toka Boca is a place where you get to create your own house in various worlds. That's something that Paige did as well. Again, asking me for bucks. And then Minecraft, where they can create their own world. And then what really piqued my interest is they would spend all of this time on these devices and in these games. And then they would turn around and watch people on YouTube doing these things. So I was really, really curious at that point. But before we go, that was what piqued my interest. We're going to talk about Web 3.0 first, because we have to have a frame of reference of where this is coming from. And when we mention the metaverse, that is a concept within the larger theme of Web 3.0. So, Web 3.0 is an umbrella term for this vision of a better future. So, it's decentralized in nature, it's open. So, that means that there is no single ownership of it. But it has added layers of your identity, currency in terms of money. There's a social layer that's impacted in there. And most importantly, there is utility for the person that's using it. My son watches people on YouTube build Minecraft worlds. And so this is going to get, that's what Erica says. And so we're going to get to where I think we are now versus where we will be in the future, but just grounding us in that terminology of what Web 3.0 is, and then how it then goes into the metaverse. So, if you think about the evolution of the web, there's Web 1.0, and I do have image source credits for these images. I did not create these, so I will make sure they're linked in the references. But there's the idea of Web 1.0. So, when the web first came out, there was just the basic reading and writing of information. You could go and look for something and you would just be able to consume that information that was there. Then with Web 2.0, we moved to the emergence of social technologies where you then became not only the consumer, but also the creator of what it is that was on the internet. You had tools like WordPress, where you didn't have to have like a master's degree in internet technologies to build a website. You had social media in order to be able to post what you were thinking, your images, your videos, your live streams. You know, we are team live stream around here. So it moved from just being able to consume that information to then creating that information in a world of Web 2.0. Then we're now moving into what is considered Web 3.0. Not only are you reading, creating, but then there's also this concept of ownership of what it is that you create, as well as an immersive experience. So, for all of my event technicians out there, you know we are always on the quest for the holy grail of how can this be a more immersive, a more engaging, a more interactive. So when you hear that Web 3.0 is moving to more of an immersive experiential design, I'm hoping that you get excited about this kind of technology and what it means for your events. There are three basic tenets of Web 3.0 technology. We talked about the first one, which is that idea of being decentralized. There is no, yes, I'm excited, Erica says. So there is that whole concept of decentralized. There is no ownership of it. And we'll talk about the blockchain, but we're not going to go there with blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all of that. It's trustless and permissionless. Anybody can add to that particular thing. And then a lot of you have learned or heard about Chat GPT. That is just one iteration of AI and machine learning. So when you combine those three components with the ability or what the premise is around Web 3.0 with creating, owning, and creating that immersive experience, that is where Web 3.0 sits in all of this. So, hearing that on a scale of 1 to 5, meaning 1, meaning we're nowhere near it, to 5, being we are there, it is happening now. In the chat, go ahead and tell me, where do you think we are as a society in terms of embracing this Web 3.0 concept? 1, nowhere there. 5, we are there, it's happening. Eric says 4 to 4. Got it. So we're almost there. Oh, almost got it. Erica says 5, 3 to 4. I agree. 3 to 4 is where I would put us at, Eric, and maybe even at a 2. But Erica says a 5. Erica, we got a little bit of a ways to go, and we'll see that on the next slide. Just so you don't walk away thinking that Web 3.0 is all metaverse, 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 there is several components of technology around the concept of Web 3.0. So you have the blockchain, which is the ledger behind capturing all of the transactions that happen. That is a very infantile description of it. This talk is not about blockchain. It's not about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. It's not about that. NFTs, which are the concept of non fungible tokens. If you are in the event industry, I would highly recommend that you do more research on this technology of NFTs. And then the metaverse is what we are here to discuss. So if you're curious about Web 3.0, these are 4 technologies that I would highly recommend that you at least take a look at to see what's going on, just to have your finger on the pulse and then see where it fits in what it is that you're doing. So, what we are here to talk about is the metaverse. And I grabbed this description off of the Google. And the metaverse is an improved digital environment where it's possible to move seamlessly between what you're working on, like in your profession, playing, shopping, socializing, and creativity as a soul avatar. So you have this persona within this internet world, the Google, Erica. You have this persona that you are putting out. So there is gaming in there, and I'm going to show you a video of me gaming within the platform. There's currency and trade. There's a particular platform that I'm on and I love. It's called the Multiverse, and it allows you to buy land. You can decorate that land, and then you can sell it for real money so that somebody else can buy it and use it. And we'll talk about that as well. There's social interactions. You can meet people literally from across the world, not the United States, not your little piece of the corner. You can meet them from anywhere because the technology is such that if they are in the environment, you can interact with them in an immersive space. So I don't know if you can see here these pictures. These are actual avatars, and they're like robots within the space, and as robots, and that's, I'm pointing to the social interactions. I don't think on AirMeet it shows the mouse pointer, but it will show. Yes, right here. So if I click on these social interactions, these are actual people. It takes your profile picture, and then you are able to move about the space very easily. Additionally, there is exercise and events. If you are connected with me on Facebook, you have seen me posting my supernatural workouts. So every morning at 8 o'clock, I am exercising. I'm getting my cardio in, which is fantastic. And then there's also for your work. So you can actually create a workspace that feels like the environment of where you are. And a lot of companies are embracing this, particularly for simulations, and then also creating those different spaces. And then what we're all here to talk about, of course, is events. So we all have been in those Zoom bubbles for a very long time, thanks to hashtag no name. I'm not going to name it. But we all have been there. However, with the metaverse, that starts to literally feel like you are in that space and place with other people. And depending on the platform that you're using, it will allow you to customize it. And I'll talk about some of the tools you should learn if you're going to go the developer route for these spaces. So, what do you need to Zoom is a 4 letter word for me, says Eric. So really what you need is a VR headset or a gaming console. I have the Meta here. There are others, but the Meta is the most cost effective one. You can also do it on a gaming console. A lot of them also have VR headsets. But the most important element, aside from the equipment, is you will need an open mind. Think about the grandparents who said, I'm not moving from this VCR. And now we're at a Netflix world. Don't be that person coming into this space. Come into the space with a way of saying, this is new and what's happening here. And then seeing how you could grow in that space. So let's show you. I have a video here. This is me doing a supernatural workout. Now I'm going to pan around the space. So this is me wearing a headset. And so it's immersive. I have my little controllers in my hand. Everywhere you see those triangles is a squat or it's a lunge. So I'm doing a lunge and then I'm exercising with my arms in this space. Now, I don't have the music on here, but there is a coach. So if you were to go to a gym and you have that coach saying, one more, give me one more. These coaches are very inspirational. It's like, and it's Women's History Month. So they're doing all kinds of stuff for that. But what you're seeing is an actual exercise that I am doing within the platform. And then they've also included gamification in here. So there's leaderboards, and adults are very competitive people. So you're always trying to get to the top of the leaderboard, but at the same time, it's building community with those people because you can then connect with them within the app. So this is just one example of being in the metaverse, not necessarily for, well, you could. Let's see, how could we apply exercise in the event industry? What if you created just a small module for your attendees at an in-person event or a virtual event? And you have these headsets set up. They're always talking about wellness, so why not have an exercise challenge where your attendees could go off and do this exercise in this VR space just to experience it and kind of change up what they're doing, right? The next one is gaming. This is the number one app on the MetaQuest. Unfortunately, I don't think this one is going to play. It's too large. But you can see if you just do a search on Google for Beat Saber, what it does is there is a competition. Let me stop playing. It's more of a competition kind of thing where you and up to 5 other people, they can be strangers or your friends from within the headset, where you go and you're competing to hit these things in a specific sequence, in a specific timeline. So one thing about this is it's very engaging. It has its own sub community. So I'll get to that in a moment, but I just want you to think about that. I showed you Supernatural, which has its own sub community. I've showed you Beat Saber. It has its own sub community. I've also talked to you about the multiverse. It has its own sub community. And a lot of times, with a lot of, I would say, small business owners, even corporations, and then event people, we struggle with finding our tribe or finding our community. When you are involved in these different kinds of platforms, one thing that it does is it opens you up to a whole subsegment of people who have similar interests. And you're able to be around them in a way that's not so, hey, buy my product. I have this course. Want to see this event platform I know about? No, you're kind of, and I know that's not how we sound, but I was trying to make it weird. So Thomas says, I hear you on that. So bland and limited. It can be confusing. I guess all have their pros and cons. An exercise event would be a great way to use an affiliate, like to make some money on those headsets. There you go, Erica. All right, so let's keep on going. So we started kind of going down that path. Here is another one for business owners to consider entry points for your business. And I'm going to show you some big brands that are doing it and then some ideas for smaller brands. You can create your own virtual store. In the multiverse, I have a Buy Zakia soap shop, and I can see on my website that traffic that's coming from there. And you know what's interesting? typically people that are in the multiverse have a higher order value than those who come from the website. I have my ideas about that, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother bat station. You have gaming. Then there's this concept of branded NFTs. So NFTs are non-fungible tokens. And the idea of a non-fungible token is that you are able to purchase them with cryptocurrency and they give you access to either an event, a product, or something. And for whatever industry you are in, community is huge. NFTs, not only are they giving you access to something, it also shows that you are a part of said community and how long you've been a part of said community. You can also then sell, like if I purchased an NFT and I'm no longer interested in events, and Tom says, "Hey, I really want to get in on one of those NFTs." I could sell that NFT to Tom, and Erica, who was the original person who sold me that NFT, gets a percentage of that sale in perpetuity. So forever, as long as that NFT exists. One-time events, you can use the metaverse for that. If you have what is it? A concert, a flea market, a training extravaganza. You can do that within the metaverse. You can also have sponsored content in the form of billboards in the metaverse. You can launch your own land, which is not something I recommend you do right now. We'll talk about RIP alt space, which is one that is being sunsetted right now. Lots of time, energy, effort, hours, blood, sweat, and tears were poured into building those worlds. But we'll talk about some considerations before you decide to do any of those. You can advertise in the worlds as well as the worlds of those that are already established and already have traffic. You can license your content. And then you can also buy digital real estate, which is what is primarily happening now. So if we were to look at the landscape of it, some of the main use cases for business owners and even event people is digital real estate, sponsored content, of course, events, branded NFTs, and then that virtual store. And these are just entry points. You can expand beyond that. So there are some big brands, and I hate to start with big brands because it's not necessarily just for big brands. But what I'm hoping you see is that if big brands are recognizing the importance of this space and the barrier to entry is so low right now, there's no reason not to get into this space. So, for example, remember I talked about Roblox? Now, if my daughter had asked me for $4,000 worth of Roblox, I can never say it right, Robux, we would have had a whole different conversation. But Gucci sold bags in Roblox for 355,000 Robux, which translates to US dollars 4,000, and sold out of them. Nike also has 7 million visitors across the world in their metaverse. Hyundai Mobility has 43 million daily users. Shopify is not to be played with when it comes to e-commerce. They have a presence in the metaverse. And then you have Coca-Cola, Fortnite with a partnership with Wendy's. And then Louis Vuitton even has a space in there. So you see a lot of fashion brands, a lot of fast food brands, and then, of course, e-commerce brands are going in there. And when I say there, what do I mean by that? There are several worlds that I would recommend that you explore. One of them is the multiverse. It doesn't come without fail, right? There's a lot that can be said about how it could be improved, should be improved. If you go into any of these metaverses at this point, you are a pioneer, right? They are building them out as they go. So, multiverse is one. Spatial is another one. No headset needed. So, you can go to spatial.io. There are some free templates that you can use. If you want to have like an art gallery, if you just want to have a space where people can go and play, you can do that as well. VR chat is the one that most people are moving from in terms of alt space closing down. So I mentioned alt space. Alt space was created by Microsoft, I believe, and it's been extremely popular. Weddings have happened on there, people have met their mates, travel, all kinds of stuff. However, they are sunsetting as of March the 10th of this year, like completely closing down. However, those people who learned the skills necessary to build those particular worlds and to customize their avatars are able to quickly pull what they have built from one platform and put it onto another platform. So VR chat is that platform that many people are moving to from the alt space world to the VR chat world. The Sandbox is the one where, if you heard about Snoop Dogg having a whole NFT drop, making millions of dollars, he has his own space in the Sandbox. And all the things that you would imagine Snoop Dogg is offering is happening in his space there. Simon Space, Crypto Voxels is another one. And then also consider wearables. And I have wearables on here. That's not a world, but one way that a lot of fashion houses are benefiting from this is they found an entire new market by developing wearables. Because remember, a huge part of what it is that people are doing is they're building their virtual self in the form of an avatar. So, how they're clothing themselves, how they walk, how they talk, all of that is in the form of wearables. And so, a lot of people are monetizing in this space right now by being able to create those wearables that people then buy and use to deck out their avatar. I do have some cautions for anybody considering going into the metaverse, and that is know why you want to enter the metaverse and how it benefits your business. Don't go with a business first mindset, though. Remember, the metaverse is all about community, connection, interacting, getting to know other people. And just like in the real world outside, I feel like where is the real world now, right? We're always behind computers. We have a headset on, you're keyboard warrior. But in the real world, authenticity matters. And authenticity comes across. And it's not like, oh, I'm being nice to you so that I can pitch you tomorrow. No, it's build your thing, but also be genuinely interested in what other people are doing. Understand that it is still early. There's going to be bugs. And if you're somebody who has to have a completely baked out solution, this probably isn't the world for you now. However, a couple of bullets down, I say the next generation is going to embrace this. They are already there. They expect to pay with digital currency. They are their digital avatars. So even if we are not ready, in the next 5 to 10 years, they are going to push the envelope because they're already expecting that. That's how they interact with each other. I would say make sure you keep a finger on the pulse, but don't go all in. Don't spend your entire R&D dollars on building out this metaverse because, again, alt space was there today, going tomorrow. Multiverse here today. I don't know how long it will be here, but those relationships are everlasting with those people that you meet within the metaverse. Create a presence and get active where you find your tribe. I wouldn't say go all in with some platforms. Some of them cost $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to buy a plot of land, maybe about that big. But it depends on where you are and what you are planning for the metaverse. Again, keep an open mind is the biggest thing that I can say in terms of this. Great options. I would recommend visiting Spatial and exploring their user spaces. It's a great introduction to the metaverse. Now, I can share my screen so that we can do that. Let me come back to the applications, and then I think, Eric, you and I, well, we can do that in a second. So some applications for business, you can create immersive learning experiences. So if you can build a world or a space that is as close to what a person can experience in the real world, it makes it more easy for that information and knowledge to be transferable when those skills make sense. You can use it for marketing and advertising, e-commerce. I am using it now for my handmade soaps. Community building. So maybe you just have a space where the virtual cemeteers commune in person, kind of like in the Air Meat Lounge area. I know Air Meat is building out their metaverse. However, that's kind of a metaverse. Not exactly, but it's kind of along those lines. Virtual travel, you can see anything in the metaverse. One reason why I love turning on Supernatural every day is that I might be in Egypt one day, I might be in China the next, I might be in Thailand or Alaska with the scenic views while I'm doing my workouts. And then also wearables are important as well. Consider if you are somebody who is all into fashion, you may want to look at creating wearables within the space. And if you're somebody who's like, you know what, I'm not really interested in being there, but I want to develop for it. Like I love building worlds. I want to express my creativity. Two tools that I recommend that you learn are Unity and Blender. They are the applications that will allow you to create these virtual worlds that can be put out on very different platforms. And as Eric is highlighting, you know, my favorite term is free 99. There's tons of tutorials for them so that you can learn it and understand it. And it is going to be, if it's not already, well, freemium, that's better. If it's not already, it's something that will be one of those skills of the next generation. It's going to be something that if you want to stay up with the tech, you will want to have some kind of development there if you're not buying it from someone else. So the next slide I had was just for questions, but let's go to spatial. And Erica, if you want to come back on, that's what I had for now. And Eric said, as an animator, he will let you know that the learning curve is steep for sure.
You, the more you,
And then what I can do you want me to share my screen here for the
oh,
yeah, I'll
If
share my
you want to
screen.
keep going, you are allowed to keep going.
Oh, okay. I thought I was over time. Okay, I'll keep going.
We're here to see you.
All right. So here is spatial. So if we go into Caroline's 3D room as an example, you get to pick your avatar as an example. I'm going to pick her. I didn't log in. I have to log in. And so it creates this space. I want to make sure my microphone is muted once we get in, but you can turn your camera on, you can turn your microphone on. I know that Eric did an example of spatial within the air meet space, which is amazing because you can create something like this within air. You can have it appear as though it's within air meet. So the idea is you're able to use your mouse and move around. You can also use your arrow keys and you can spawn to different areas to take a look at the gallery. So I know Thomas is a water guide. Could you imagine if he has, and then it shows you who joins the space, if he has something that he wants to share here, right? And I can just walk around. I didn't fell down somebody's deep hole. Oh boy. So that's fun, right? And then you can just kind of see the different things. Embed videos. I don't want to have music playing because then I know Erica repurposes these streams everywhere and I don't want her to get shut down. But you can see the people that are in this space. You can interact with them as well. But as Eric recommended, I would say come into spatial.io. You can create your own spaces. It does have kind of like a point and click kind of thing. And you can explore the different spaces that are available there. That looks pretty neat too. All right, now I'm done seriously that time. Any questions from the audience? Any anything that I didn't cover that you were hoping we covered? Anything along those lines? Erica, I think that we can probably go back into the lounge then. I just want to say thank you for having me in the mastermind group and then also giving me an opportunity to share some of the things I love, I'm kind of passionate about. And I'm hoping that you all got a chance to kind of imagine some of the possibilities. Eric is coming on. Hey, Eric. No, I can't hear you. He has to do the quick. Oh,
Should be able to hear me now.
I can.
Okay, good. Great presentation. This is amazing. I'm so glad we're talking about the metaverse. It is definitely a 3 to 4. Too many roadblocks, and I did ask that question about what you think are the roadblocks that are keeping us from getting to Web 3.0 and the metaverse. 1 and 2. Erica did ask about me incorporating or integrating a spatial gallery and even a penthouse. I put up a Miami penthouse in the reception too as well, which is cool. And that's something even beyond. There's a whole real estate thing about NFTs and buying spaces like penthouses and warehouses and nightclubs. You can buy all of this online and then decorate it with assets. And so it's pretty amazing. And you could see this in spatial. There are a few. I think there's the Miami penthouses in this. And this guy is a multi-millionaire from Turkey who bought his NFT, his actual penthouse, for $65. And now it's worth a lot because people with NFTs, you buy it, and he's making 10% off of every single sale. So there's a whole realtors market with it. So, but anyways, yeah, my question is what do you think the roadblocks are? I'll take it offline. You've been great. It's in the Q&A, the roadblocks toward getting to Web 3.0. Thanks.
For sure. So I think the biggest roadblock is the technology to access it. Like spatial is a little bit different because you can access it from a computer, but the VR headsets can be a little bit cost prohibitive. And I know the new version that's coming out from Meta is even more expensive. So you take the technology part out of it. I just think, and I hate to be a generational person, but our generation is really slow at adoption and they don't get the what's in it for me. And similar to TikTok, I don't get it. Why are we doing TikTok? They're really slow at adoption. And I think adopting new technology becomes difficult for them because they can't see the what's in it for them now. They're very so I think the two answers to that question is access to technology, the cost of it, and then just our historical adoption of technology has been so slow. And I don't think it's mainstream enough. And there have been a lot of bad players in the Web3 world in terms of just crap NFTs or projects where you had a lot of scammers. So until that kind of plays out. And then we've also just, I hate to say come out of a pandemic, but we're still in a pandemic. I'm noticing, particularly in the events industry, people are creatures of habit. So even though they've had all of these gains in the virtual space over the past 2 years, the first thing they want to do is go back to what's regular, what's normal for them. I think it's really going to take this next generation, those 14 and 15-year-olds now, who will be the 20 and 21-year-olds who will push it because they're already living in the world. Zakia, thank you for the introduction to this world. I have been curious about it. I have been asked about protecting digital content like courses with NFTs so that you can continually profit as people share, but I don't know enough about it. One interesting thing about NFTs, and I am not an expert here, the thing about NFTs is the most important thing on any of these worlds is the community you have around it. There have been thousands and thousands of NFT projects that have launched over the past 2 years. And those that were successful had true utility in those NFTs. And they also had a community of people who were already embedded in the digital currency world. Because remember, in order to sell an NFT or in order to buy an NFT, you have to have a wallet that has cryptocurrency so that you can have that ledger entry in the blockchain of who owns it. So if your community isn't already leveraging NFTs, perhaps a way of introducing it is you start to learn it and share it with your community as you embark on your NFT journey, right? So having them, hey, I'm considering doing this particular thing. And as you learn about NFTs, introduce that to your community so that they actually are in a place to get those NFTs when you launch them. That question came up, but then it lost it. Zakia, have you heard of Gala? If yes, I have not heard of that. I'm sorry, Erica. But hopefully that helps, Joe. It's really interesting. The NFTs have so many things aside from courses. People can sell contracts, real estate, all through NFTs. It's just we have to remember you don't have to be an artist to sell NFTs. I think course creators are really positioned well to have NFTs, but you have to have a community of people who are willing to purchase those NFTs. And they may be willing to purchase, but are they able to? Do they have a wallet? Which currency are you going to offer it in? What platform are you going to put the NFT on? So all of those things. So course creators in particular, imagine hosting your courses as an NFT, but then it also unlocks maybe your book or access to your conference or access to printables, downloadables, your community, your ongoing community. And just by having that NFT, and maybe what we were talking about in terms of that one person with the real estate and getting a commission every time, maybe I'm with your community for 2 years, but I don't need it anymore. I can now sell that to someone else and you still get paid as the creator with that NFT, which is huge. So I'm hoping that helps. Community is important. Here, no matter what you are doing, where you are doing it, for business or for personal reasons, you cannot have community without communing with other people. And I think that's something that Erica has cultivated very well in the virtual summiteers. She ensures that we stay connected, and I'm grateful for that.
Not to steal your show or your thunder here, but
Please,
in addition,
Eric.
one of the biggest assets or one of the biggest things that are going on in the NFT world right now are nonprofit organizations. They are selling art, music, their cause, all different types of things, icons and stuff. And what's happening is, like you said, when an NFT sells, then the original, you get a percentage off of that going all the way out. So just imagine a large nonprofit, their membership buying this NFT and raising money for themselves back into the cause. So this is one of the big things too as well. Thanks, Zakia.
For sure. All right, Erica. I don't see any other questions. I looked in the feed. I see you coming back on.
Hey. That was a great presentation. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Watching my son watch Minecraft and Roblox, I was just thinking it was somebody playing a game.
They are. They're indoctrinating them very early on. Not indoctrinating them, but this is the world they're used to. And so watch children. They probably tell us exactly where we're going or where we need to be anyway. So yeah.
Well, everyone, this was Zakia Ringgole. So if you're watching via live stream, if you're watching the replay and you want to hang out more with Zakia, you got to join the Virtual Summiteers Mastermind group because she drops information like this all the time. And if you don't know Zakia, she knows a lot more than about the metaverse and NFTs and soap. She knows a lot more things. Okay, everybody, join us in the lounge and we'll see y'all at the tables. Bye for now.